What's up, everybody? Thanks for joining me on D's Analysis. We're going to be looking at technical analysis here on MicroStrategy. So we broke out of our primary trend line, got that beautiful bounce. We're pushing up to this secondary trend line. Looks like we're getting a little bit of resistance there. Not surprised that we're getting a little bit of a rejection here because of this trend line. So let's see if we can finally break it. Of course, it's going to be depending on Bitcoin. So we'll see how it plays out, but there's a good chance that if we don't break it, we're just going to continue to compress. There's a good chance that we can continue to compress until we finally make a decision and we either break out, retest, and move up higher, or we chop and we fall underneath this horizontal level of support and resistance and this long-term trend line, retest, and go down further to the bottom of the zone. Of course, we don't want to see that. We definitely want to see it hold this gray long-term trend line. As you know, it's been a crucial part of this trend right now, so we definitely don't want to lose that. So hopefully we can just move on up from here and say that we've already had enough touches of this gray trend line, but we'll find out with time. On the daily SMAs, we're still looking good. We're still above the 20 and the 50. Really, like I said, our only concern right now is this downward sloping trend line. After we break that, we might be able to have a little move to maybe 340, and then we may chop on a minor resistance level at about 354 to about 350. So we'll see how everything plays out. On a minor level, we do have a resistance right here above our head. So once we break out of this downward sloping trend line, that's going to be the next level that we need to break before we can make it to this golden zone here. On the weekly SMAs, we got that strong bounce off the 50. We got two bounces, and this last one was a very solid bounce. Clean move right back off of it. Let's see if we can hold that and eventually break this 20 and continue the trend upward. On the Bollinger Bands, we're almost reaching the weekly Bollinger Band in the middle and this trend line. So that's going to be a lot of resistance above our head. And we still have this upward sloping trend line. And hopefully we can make it to the red. And maybe we reach the red and that acts as resistance and pushes us back down to the trend line for that retest. And then maybe we go back and touch the red again on the daily. RSI is still at the same position as last time. We got the inverse head and shoulders still looking good. We're holding above the moving average. And the weekly, we're still at that cross point where we're trying to break this moving average, but we haven't made a decision yet. Price is kind of just stalling right there, but we'll find out by the end of this week if we reject or if we can break out. We're right there on the verge of breaking it. That should be a good sign, because last time we broke it, you can see what happened. We had a nice move up after a downtrend. We broke out of it and rallied up. So I'll draw out what we had on the RSI. So that's what we currently have going on. We broke out of it, touching the moving average. Let's see if we break it. And on the last occasion, it looks something like that, where it's very similar. Where we had the downtrend, we broke out of it, and then we broke the moving average. So it kind of looks similar, in my opinion. So let's see if we get a repeat of this move. Hopefully a larger move, but something similar. And back to the resistance over our head, the golden zone that we have. This is going to be a key player that we need to break. So the 423 to the 383 region. That's pulling from this high to this bottom wick right here. So let's see where things play out once we get there. But I do think if we have enough momentum, we can blast right through it. But we need momentum because price is kind of just going sideways, not really doing much. As you can see, the past 3 trading days have just kind of been sideways. No movement. Wick up, wick down, wick up, back down. So, but when you look at the actual closes, I mean, it's not even like a 1% difference. They're just all closing at like 310, 311. Let's see if we get a move, hopefully to the upside. Price is definitely compressing more and more. So let's see where price chooses to go, hopefully to the upside. So on this move here, we're holding underneath the golden zone. This is our golden zone here. We're pretty far underneath it. And then on this last consolidation and bull flag, when you pull to the top of the move, to the bottom of the range of the bull flag, the actual flag itself, not including the bull, we were playing above and below it, and then we fell far underneath it. But once we broke the golden zone, you see the solid close above, that retest, and that's when we took off. So I'm expecting that to happen once we get above this golden zone. We break above 420, close, retest, and I think that's when we can really take off. On Bitcoin, on a minor level, we do have a bull flag forming. Let's see how it turns out. We have our little flag right here on the 4-hour. Been forming since last week Thursday, so it's been about a week. We've just been trending sideways. So let's see if it invalidates and falls underneath, and we end up creating some kind of triple top or double top. So maybe we go back up, fail and retest and push back down, creating a triple top, or maybe it ends up playing out and then we have a measured move from here to higher prices, upwards of 91,000 or something like that, slightly underneath our range that we want to get back into. I think things definitely start to look up once we get to this region and above. I think this is the key level on Bitcoin that we want to break back inside of, because that's where the real range is right here. We want that. On the daily SMAs, we did close back underneath the 50. We're just dancing with this thing above, below, back above, back below, and we're underneath it currently. So we're currently above it now after the close yesterday. Let's see what happens here. Hopefully we can actually get a move and close back inside of the top of these wicks or above it, so we can get that sustained move to the upside and eventually run into the 200-day. I do think it's a matter of time before things begin to take off. I just think it's a waiting game right now, but I do think it could be happening any moment now. I know I've been saying it for some time, but it should be happening any moment, especially when you take a look at global liquidity. This thing's been ramping up, and I wouldn't doubt that we get a large move sometime soon. And this move on global liquidity is larger than these two, and these two had two significant moves, as you can see. This move here is this move, and that was a 330% move. And for this leg here, that was a 360% move. And now this one is much larger than both of these. So maybe we're looking at a 400% move. Who knows? From the bottom, maybe that puts us right there at the top of our range at 1200. We'll see how it plays out. This is just speculation, but that's all I have for you guys. I'll see you in the next one.